Will the Red Sox ever get to 500? Welcome to A Fan Divided. I'm Holly Mandillo. And I know I promised more on Tim Wakefield, but first I've really got to get this off my chest. It's the question every Red Sox fan is asking. Why aren't they winning? And to cope, we're telling ourselves, don't worry about it. They'll be fine. It's a long season. And it is. But I gotta tell you, I'm getting a little sick of this excuse. Yes, 162 games is a long season. I mean, compared to football, 16 games, there's a lot more meaning and importance placed on each of those games because it's so much shorter. And yes, I've been known to maybe take Giants games a little too seriously. Yes, my mood can be affected for the entire week depending on whether the Giants win or lose. So I've learned to not take Red Sox games, because there's so many of them, as seriously. However, the problem with the "it's a long season" mantra is that in a division, or in a league, where 1 or 2 games are often the difference between playing in October and being home in time to take your kids trick-or-treating, it's these games that we should be winning that could come back to haunt us. All season, I've been having this ongoing argument with my husband, Joe. He says, don't worry about the Red Sox, they'll be fine, they could go on a run anytime. And yes, of course they could. But I have to remind him that for every game we win, the Rays and the Yankees have to lose one. See, when you're behind in the race, you don't really control your own destiny. Unless, of course, you're playing the team that you're trailing, which the Red Sox are doing this weekend. We have 3 against the Yankees. Right now, we are 4 games behind them, and they are 1 game behind the Tampa Bay, worst to first, should have been us, Rays. So, if we were to sweep the Yankees, take all 3 games, we would be at 500. 20-20. Technically still 1 game behind the Yankees, 2 in the loss column. If they were to sweep us, we would be 7 games behind them. If we come in somewhere in between, well, we're right about where we are now, give or take a game. The one thing we can be sure of is, if we can't win more than half of our games, we're not making the playoffs. So, when is it time to panic? The All-Star break? Late August? Let's consider a scenario. Fast forward to the end of the season. We're still about 4 or 5 games out, either of first place or the wild card. We're actually a little bit lucky right now to be in the American League East, as amazing as that sounds. In almost any other division, we'd be further out of first. But let's say 4 or 5 games out, 20 games left. The good news is that the last 20 games are in our division. The bad news is the last 20 games are in our division. We got 7 against the Rays, 3 against the Yankees. If we were able to win all 10 of those games, we'd be in good shape. If not, remember, for every game that we win, the Rays and the Yankees have to lose one for us to gain any ground. Panicked yet? It is certainly not my intention to A, create any more panic for myself, or B, spread panic across the nation. I mean, my own panic meter right now is probably hovering around a 6. We'll see where it is at the end of the weekend. The Red Sox are sending Buchholz, Beckett, and Lester to the mound against the Yanks in the Bronx. Go Red Sox. And remember, regardless of what happens this weekend, it's a long season. Until next time, I'm Holly Mandillo, and I am A Fan Divided.